low cutoff. Okay, so here's the melody. You can see that we are in the F minor key. So yeah, this is it. Got some harmonizations here. So over here there's only one note at a time playing, and over here there's two notes at a time, and to me that just sounds really good, like the end of the melody, like two voices at a time, you know. And so this is the Eminem vocal. It's from his song Soldier. I just downloaded a cappella from YouTube and I sampled this part. Got some snares right here. Nothing special, just to build up. Now we've got this kick. That's pretty important. This is the low pass filter for the kick, and it's going up. As you can see. So here's the kick punch already, just so it gets introduced a little with snares, kind of distinct, you know. And this is the big snare for the drop. I love that. Okay, so this is a screech. Okay, so as you can see, this one has 2 layers, and they both have 8 voices, and pretty much a lot of detune. If I would take away the detune, it would sound like this, and we don't want that. And another thing that's really important is this pitch automation. If I would not do it, it would sound like this. So really thin. And now that sounds closest to a real screech to me. And we have these automations right here. So yeah, you can kind of see what they're doing. Just like a pitch automation to make it cool, chorus to make it sound fatter, and compressor to compress it. So here's a kick roll. So that's just a punch that I made. This one. It's pretty good. It's a pretty hard punch, and it has this reverb thing behind it. So if I put anything under it, a low bass layer, it's gonna sound good. So yeah, this is my bass layer, which is basically this kick, but pitched down to an F. As you can see, here's a G. I pitched it down to an F, and I think I put some distortion and EQ on it. See this distortion, and here's some EQ to get rid of some mids, and then this layer has some mids. So yeah, I rendered the screech again with Edison, and I put these plugins on it. So yeah, as you can hear, this one makes it wider. So yeah, and just distort it more, EQ it again. We don't want those low frequencies in there, we want it cut right here so it doesn't interfere with the kick. And then this speed controller is for the reverb. So you can see that whenever the screech plays, the reverb goes down. And when it stops playing, the reverb comes back in. So there is no reverb whenever the screech plays. So it's really in your face. And then after that, the reverb comes, makes it sound big. And then gross beat with the volume automation, so it gets sidechains, kinda. And then this screech. So that's kind of the same thing as a screech that I showed you before, except for the fact that this one has a real high gain and a pretty slow rate. You know, if I would make it more like this, that would sound like a normal screech, but now it gets slower and it sounds dirtier. And again, we have these things to make it interesting. And also important is that this thing is a square layer instead of a saw. It has a different sound and I like it. So over here are some kick rolls with pitched kick. So nothing special, just this pitch goes up. So here the kick changed tone. That sounds really good in my opinion. Also, instead of this punch right here, I took this punch. And it has no reverb and it just sounds way harder. So yeah, here we have the sample. This is basically just Eminem saying rock into it. But then I made this pitch go down with this automation clip. So yeah, sounds cool. And I put a bass drop. It's just a sample.
I spit it slow so these kids know that I'm talking to them. Give it back to these damn critics and sock it to them. I'm like a thug with a little bit of pop influence. I spew it and look how I got you bitches rocking to it.
So yeah, that's Eminem Soldier, as you can see. And I put these, this bass under it with the chords. This is basically just a low saw with a low cutoff. And the plug again. And we have these bass. These are just 808 samples that I downloaded, but you could also make them with 3x oscillator or whatever. It's not special. So yeah, it's pretty much generic trap. This clap's pretty cool. So yeah, that's the sample and I put these effects over it. You can hear that, and I just huge reverb. So this is just like a big boom, very low, just hits. Low saw to act like a bass. It's this one. These settings, as you can see, and it just plays a real low note, F3. So yeah, the melody. So that's only 3 layers, not a lot. So yeah, one layer like that. So A and B part where I use 4 operators. This one is more special because this one also has this pitch automation like the screeches. Yeah, of course, reverb delay. And then this is just a preset. Hit this man. A little bit of a break beat right here. Same build up. So for here I just played this lead right here. And then I went to Edison and I just went like this. So yeah, I recorded it and I put it in the playlist with this knob, and I moved it here and I put effects on it. You can see this thing, I cut the bass, and as we get closer to the drop, the bass will be cut to, yeah, farther up. So right here we have this crash cymbal and the bass drop again, sub drop, and then the vocal comes in. You know, usually now you would expect a drop, but in this track it's pretty cool. And then we wait for a while, and then we kind of build it up again. So yeah, that's the part of the track that really a lot of people like. As you can hear, this part, we're low. This is low kick, and this part, it's way higher. So over here the note is F, and over here we are in A sharp or B flat, whatever you want to call it. This sounds higher and it makes the speakers shake, and I loved it for an anticlimax, you know, because right here we are showing the melody and then it builds up and people think the melody is gonna come in, but no, it's like this. So yeah, it's a little bit of a weird kick. It's not a normal raw kick, but you know, in raw hardstyle we like to experiment, so I just put this kick sample, which I downloaded sometime, and I don't even know when, but you know, I always download samples, and whenever I think one of them is cool, I just find it and I use it. So it's let me see, it's this one right here. As you can hear, there's a little bit of a difference. I EQ'd it just a bit, but yeah, very simple. Okay, so this is just a layer of a kick. It's, let me find it for you. I think it's this one. And then if you, this is a G, and if you pitch it up to an A sharp or B flat, sounds a little higher. And also I distorted the shit out of it. First I EQ'd it like this, and I put distortion over it, really, and more distortion. And then this is just a sidechain. And now I took away the bass, so it doesn't interfere with the normal bass. And this is just another tail layer. That is, it's this one. Also pitched it up to an A sharp. And as you can hear, there's again, this is a very weird EQ by the way, and there's again distortion. So this is how it sounds normally, and this is the EQ. And distortion over it. And this is just a side chain. And then this one just cuts away the bass and adds a little bit more high frequency. So the bass layer under it, of course, pitched up to A sharp again to be in key. Put Maximus over it, so the low gets compressed or even distorted. Much more controlled lows. It's like one constant layer of bass. And then another important one is this one. Very simple. One of the last euphoric hardstyle kicks that I made is this one. So I just pitched it up again to A sharp. I put it over here, and then this is a side chain. And then I took away the bass again. So yeah, just percussion to give it extra groove. So yeah, it's the same screech that I used before in this track, but where the power really comes in is this short note that makes it just, if the notes have different lengths, like this one and this one, that makes it like really groovy. So so yeah, and of course there's a lot of reverb and delay going on to give it extra rhythm. Oh, only reverb I see. Then there's this thing, which is basically this punch, but I pitch it up and I made an EQ peak, put distortion after it, I reverbed it, and then I distorted it even more, and then I got rid of the bass again. Pretty good kick roll right here. So that's just the same kick as I used here, and the same kick roll pre-drop. Okay. Okay, so then it's just the same melody and same leads as here. Our melody starts in the key of F with the F chord. So as you can see right here, F chord, F, G sharp, and C. That's an F minor chord. And now we start, maybe as you can hear, way higher. So we actually start on the C sharp, which is, I think that's the sixth of the F key. And you know, the listener doesn't expect that we start on that key, so it gives a really cool feeling to the track. And only there we get back to F, and then the listener would expect that we will go back to C sharp again right here. But we actually start again on F. And then I just did this thing, which is basically just a weird thing, you know, 3x oscillator. Plays the first part of the melody, so it makes it interesting for the listener, and then comes back with the pre-drop drum fill, and then we get back into the our melody again with the kick roll, of course. That's a cool kick roll. So yeah, we build it up again, and this is the outro. Same as the intro.
When your life
same thing. So here we're basically just building it off. Building it down, I mean. So yeah, that's basically it. It's not my biggest project, it's pretty simple actually, but yeah, people thought it was my best track, so I guess it worked. I hope you guys learned something, and definitely check out my track, The Truest. And I also released a track on Neophyte Records, A Way of Life INVADE remix, so check that out too. So yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.